This is a Pepsi R2-D2 vending machine.
All right.
This is a drawer you were looking for.
More of a C3PO guy.
Oh, really?
This is a blunderbuss. They're a really effective weapon. Look how many pieces of glass or nails could shoot out the end of this thing. Do you know anything about it?
I think it's like 1600s.
Normally you don't find things this old and this good a shape.
Rick realizes the old man has been sleeping more than usual, and suddenly the whole shop turns into a medical panel. Corey suggests energy shots. Chumlee suggests ginseng like he just discovered herbal medicine on YouTube, and Rick immediately shuts everything down because, you know, rebuilt heart. The concern is real, but the execution is chaos. This kicks off a running mission for the rest of the episode. Keep the old man awake without accidentally sending him into orbit.
But lately it seems like he's been sleeping a lot more. Notice that the old man's sleeping a lot more?
Dude, I haven't noticed actually. I think I know what he needs though.
What's that?
I think he needs some ginseng.
Ginseng? Like ginseng root?
Yeah.
A guy walks in with a Gibson Les Paul Professional, and Rick instantly transforms back into his teenage self. The seller doesn't even play guitar, but wants $500 to $600, which sounds like a garage sale number. Rick starts giving a mini rock history lecture about Les Paul inventing the solid body electric guitar and basically shaping modern music. But then he notices the weird pickups and switches and freezes. Now it's either a rare gem or someone Frankenstein this thing in their basement.
Back in the 1970s when I was a teenager, that's all I wanted was a Les Paul. Oh, yeah, this is nice. There's just something about an old Les Paul that people fall in love with. He's a legend. He more or less invented the electric guitar. He worked with Gibson forever.
Rick admits he's stumped. He explains that swapping parts can tank a guitar's value faster than dropping it off a stage, and Gibsons are already tricky to date. So he calls in his buddy Jesse, the guitar expert, basically waving the white flag. The seller lights up because expert usually means bigger payday. Rick, meanwhile, is standing there trying not to look nervous while holding what could be a gold mine, or a very expensive mistake.
Once you start tinkering and replacing parts in an old guitar like this, the value just starts plummeting. I have to make sure all the parts are original. Let me call my buddy Jesse down here so we can find out a little bit more about this thing. All right. And we'll go from there, because at this point, I have no idea what it's worth.
Jesse walks in like a kid entering a candy store because Les Pauls are his obsession. He identifies it as a Les Paul Professional, the model Les Paul himself preferred. Suddenly, all those weird switches make sense. He explains the low impedance pickups and the unusual wiring, and now the guitar goes from huh to wait, this is serious. But to nail the value, they have to open it up and check internal codes like detectives cracking a safe.
There's a code on the potentiometer. After the first three numbers, 137, you have the numbers 69. So what you have is a 69 Les Paul. That's pretty rad.
That's great. So what's it worth?
You know, in this condition, I don't see why you couldn't pull $2,200 out of this guitar.
They pop it open and find the code 13769, confirming it's from 1969. Rick's grin says everything. Jesse values it at about $2,200, and the seller nearly levitates. A guitar he thought was mid suddenly became major. Negotiations kick in. Seller asks $1,800. Rick counters down to $1,400 because, shocker, pawn shops like profit. Deal made. Rick walks away like he just robbed a casino.
Les Paul is my favorite guitars. It's what I play. So, you know, kind of excited to see what they got in there.
This is it.
Very cool. What you have here is a Les Paul Professional. If it wasn't for Les Paul, rock and roll as you know it today probably wouldn't even exist.
Chumlee tries his wellness approach and offers the old man ginseng candy. The old man immediately suspects it's drugs, which honestly feels on brand. He tries it anyway and admits it tastes good, while Chumlee proudly explains its Appalachian origins like a herbal documentary narrator. It's a wholesome attempt, and also very Chumlee. Meanwhile, Corey is still in the corner ready to weaponize energy drinks.
To eat it.
Oh, I'll try it, Chumlee. Ain't half bad.
There's a full bottle right there. Let me know when you run out.
Chumlee, ginseng grows wild in the Appalachian Mountain. People harvest it every season. It's a big business back there.
Yeah.
A seller brings in a 1934 Rolls-Royce Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament, and Corey jumps straight into the scandalous backstory. Eleanor Thornton, mistress, inspiration, drama. He explains how older ornaments doubled as radiator caps and why collectors love them. It's a cool piece with history and flair, but Corey keeps expectations grounded. You can't exactly build a collection of just hood ornaments.
Right. Spirit of Ecstasy, or Eleanor, as the story goes, Lord Montague, some type of royalty in England, was having a Rolls-Royce built for himself. And back then, when you were having a Rolls-Royce built, they measured you, they did everything they could to build the car around you.
The seller wants $2,000 for it to help fund a wedding. Corey shuts it down fast. Rolls-Royce collectors want the cars, not detached ornaments that look like they escaped a parking lot at night. He offers $200. The seller laughs it off, says he'll keep it and maybe buy a Rolls someday, then jokes about gifting it to his daughter instead. No deal, but no hard feelings either.
They collect Rolls-Royces. Gotcha. So there's nothing I can really do with it.
For that amount, I'd rather just keep it and buy a Rolls-Royce myself.
There you go, man.
Cool.
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Rick tries a new tactic, espresso and crossword puzzles. The old man rejects both immediately. Crosswords are boring, and espresso is a yuppie drink. Rick insists it's just concentrated coffee. One sip later, and the old man's eyes light up like Christmas morning. He loves it and demands a huge cup. Rick refuses because he's trying to wake him up, not launch him into cardiac overdrive.
Do with the price of tea in China.
I'm trying to get it so you don't sleep as much. So I think, you drink a little espresso and then, work on crossword puzzles, exercise the mind.
Well, I don't do crossword puzzles.
A seller rolls in with 2 carousel horses, claiming they're French carved from the 1920s and asking $4,000 each. Rick gives a history lesson on how carousels evolved from military training to carnival staples and how European pieces can be serious money. But the longer he looks, the more things feel off. Bad repaint, no wear marks, no pole hole, red flags everywhere.
He told me they were carved by a French carver in the 1920s, but he couldn't think of the name, and that was shortly before he passed away. So I have no history.
There's a great history with carousel horses. One of the things they used them for was military training.
Rick concludes they're 1980s reproductions, not antiques. The seller still asks for an offer, but Rick politely declines. Too risky, not his lane. The seller takes it well and leaves. Meanwhile, the old man, now fully caffeinated, storms in like a drill sergeant, yelling at everyone to work and clean. Rick's grand plan to wake him up has officially backfired.
What do you want to do with them?
I'd like to sell them, and I'm asking like $4,000 a piece for them.
This is my big problem with them, though. I'm damn near positive these are reproductions. I think they were probably made in the 80s, and they were probably sold as reproduction.
Rick watches the chaos and sighs. Now that he's up, I wish he'd go back to sleep. Corey and Chumlee compare notes, energy shots, ginseng, espresso, basically admitting they've created a monster. The old man is barking orders, Hart probably doing parkour, and the crew is scrambling. Lesson learned, sometimes the best management strategy is letting sleeping old men lie.
You're on my dime. Get off the damn phone. The amount of time these guys have spent worrying about me today has taught me one thing. They're not doing their damn job. Now I gotta show them who's boss. What's going on, boys?
What's up, Grandpa?
I just been working.
Been working?
A seller brings in a gentleman's walking cane with a built-in telescope, calling it a vintage paparazzi tool, and asks for $950. Rick loves oddball items and explains the history of dual-purpose canes, but then he spots modern milling marks. Boom. Not 1890s, more like 1950s or 60s. Still cool, just not ancient. Rick passes, and the seller decides to try his luck online instead.
This is an 1890s gentleman's walking cane with a 19-inch brass telescope on the end.
Okay.
Last night, I was testing it out, and I could see about 10 blocks perfectly.
That's pretty cool.
A man brings in his grandfather's 1763 French flintlock pistol from the attic and references online listings around $3,000. Corey walks through how flintlocks work and why collectors love them, but he also casually mentions he already has about 30. Supply and demand, baby. Negotiations begin, expectations shrink, and they settle at $1,450. Seller leaves happy, already planning what new toy he'll buy next.
The way it would work is you would put your powder in there, pull the trigger, flint would strike steel, drop a bunch of sparks in there, out goes the bullet.
All right.
Rick and Chumlee visit a collector's house packed with Star Wars props. We're talking legit film-used pieces, a stormtrooper blaster, C-3PO parts, the works. Rick is blown away and says Star Wars fans are the most passionate spenders on Earth. The seller needs quick cash for another collectible, which tells you everything about how deep this hobby runs. The potential deal feels massive.
Hey, how's it going? You're the guy with the Star Wars?
That's right.
Okay.
Come on over here, I'll show you the Star Wars collection I called you about.
Damn, this is cool.
What is all this stuff?
Most of this is Star Wars original filming prop, either production made or screen used.
The seller wants about $80,000 for the whole collection. Rick admits he has no clue what it's worth and calls in Steve Grad, a top Star Wars authenticator. The seller agrees but makes it clear, if the expert can't connect with the right collector market, the deal dies. Stakes officially raised.
Go visit the sites. I mean, I was in the desert. It's up in California, but they have a big pit there. It's a pit of Carcoon. It's awesome. Guys drop into it.
The pit of Carcoon.
Yes. And they have the Sarlacc pit. It had tentacles in it, and when the guys went down into it, they got eaten alive and kind of digested over years. You know, you have to wonder what happened to Boba Fett.
Back at the shop, another seller brings in a Japanese-looking flask. Unsure if it's for gunpowder or water. Corey openly says it could be priceless or souvenir shop junk. So he calls Dr. Phineas, an Asian antiques expert. The seller's hoping for life-changing money. Rick's just hoping it's not a paperweight with delusions.
So tell me what you know about it, man.
Satsuma. From what I've studied, it's basically art that they do with like plateware, cups, canteens, but I'm not really entirely sure that that's what it is.
Dr. Phineas arrives and immediately identifies it as Chinese, not Japanese, pointing out calligraphy that means prosperity. It's a Taoist flask from the 1850s used in feng shui rituals. Mystery solved. Value? Not exactly treasure chest level, about $200 to $300. The seller's dream shrinks, but at least now he knows what it actually is.
That is definitely Chinese. And I'll tell you where the proof of the pudding is on this. It's in the calligraphy right here. This, in Chinese, says prosperity. There was a resurgence of the Taoist religion.
Steve Grad dives into the Star Wars props like a man on a sacred mission. He starts calling industry contacts, including Oscar-winning prop experts, verifying every piece. This isn't casual collecting, it's forensic work. Provenance, authenticity, history, everything matters when the numbers get this big.
I do recognize some of these pieces. There's so many fakes in the marketplace. People knock these things off all the time. So before I tell you for sure, I want to make a phone call, check with a few guys I know in the industry.
Yo, you want me to call Luke Skywalker for you?
Steve returns with confirmation. The blaster, C3PO parts, prototype eyes, all real, screen used. Suddenly, these aren't collectibles. They're movie history. The blaster alone is an ultimate display piece. The deal just went from interesting to high stakes in seconds.
What I did is I kind of looked at an overall picture of what was there, because I think as a group they were much stronger as some of the individual pieces, but there was some great value there, some really fascinating pieces, and I mean, it's movie history. You don't get to see this stuff every day.
Steve values the collection around $75,000. The seller sticks to his $80,000 goal. Rick offers $50,000. Counter comes at $70,000. Rick nudges to $52,000 and stands firm, explaining resale costs and risk. The seller won't budge. Despite authenticity and hype, the gap is too wide. No deal.
Hey, there's not a lot of margin there for me. It costs money to sell stuff.
I have to decline on that. I got it. I have to decline on it.
If you change your mind over the next few days, give me a call.
Rick returns to the shop and breaks the news. Too expensive, wrong margins, deals off. Chumlee just says the stuff was cool. Rick shrugs and drops his philosophy. If the deal's not right, it's not right. Corey immediately compares him to Yoda. Wise, blunt, and slightly grumpy.
How was it? Perfect.
Wanted too much money, as far as I'm concerned anyway.
Stuff was cool, though.
I mean, the deal wasn't right. If the deal's not right, the deal's not right. You can't make it.
What are you, like Yoda or something?
Ugly and smart. He was also bald.
Yeah, and big ears.
The episode ends with full Star Wars roasting mode. Corey calls Rick Darth Vader. The old man claims Emperor status, and Rick fires back that Luke Skywalker clearly isn't listening. No massive purchase, but plenty of nerd energy, jokes, and a reminder that even the coolest items still have to make business sense in the pawn world.
If I'm Darth Vader, you're the evil emperor.
Sounds like a good title for me.
All right, well, Luke Skywalker's not listening to this conversation anymore.
Yes, Corey.
The episode opens with a surprisingly emotional moment. Lily's one-year internship is ending, and suddenly the toughest pawn shop on TV turns into a farewell party. Rick pretends he's fine. Corey immediately calls him out for looking sad, and the whole room gets weirdly sentimental. Then Rick snaps back into business mode with his classic reminder, you never know what's walking through that door. Translation, enjoy the feelings now. Chaos is about to resume in 3, 2, 1.
It's hard to believe after a year at the shop, Lily's internship is coming to an end. All that's left to do is to review her performance, give her the paperwork, so she could turn it into the college to get her credit.
That sucks.
Huh?
Damn, you actually look sad, dude.
A customer walks in with a Pony Express Bible from 1859, one of only 300 printed, and hopes for $5,000. Rick's eyes light up, but his skepticism kicks in instantly because iconic items get faked more than celebrity autographs. Corey asks why he even needs to look at it, and Rick launches into a Pony Express history lesson like a teacher who just got a favorite topic. The big question hangs in the air. Is this real history or a really convincing prop?
Very cool. Where did you get this?
I got a friend of mine that cleans up after estate sale, and so he gave me a call when he had a box of old books, and this was in it.
Corey, check this out.
What is it?
It's a Pony Express Bible.
Why would I want to see that?
The seller admits even his research is conflicting, which somehow makes it more suspicious and more interesting. Rick explains the deeply religious founder and how Bibles were important symbolically, but doubts writers actually lug them around. Corey cuts in with pure practicality. If you're riding a horse all day, why would you carry extra weight? It's history versus common sense, and suddenly this tiny book feels like a huge mystery.
I have, and I've got some conflicting information. The Museum of Biblical Art had an exhibit where it featured one of these. In their article, it stated that it was one of the original Pony Express Bible, but then I talked to a guy at a...
The seller stands firm at $5,000. Rick points out the rough condition and admits he genuinely has no idea what it's worth, which for Rick is basically a crisis. The potential upside is too big to ignore, so he calls in Rebecca, the book expert, because there are a million questions. The seller's hoping for quick confirmation. Rick's hoping it's not a very old, very expensive paperweight.
You looking to sell it?
I am looking to sell it, and I would take $5,000 for it.
All right.
I have no idea. That's the problem. It's in really bad shape. I don't want to open it up or anything like this. The spine is practically gone.
We shift back to Lily for her performance review. Rick praises her work ethic and reliability. The old man delivers his signature backhanded compliment, saying he's glad she didn't pick up Chum's habits, then casually admits he doesn't know her last name. It's awkward, funny, and weirdly sweet all at once. The exact tone this shop thrives on.
I think you've done great. You're a fast learner. You show up at work on time. You're going to do well in life.
Thank you.
Lily has been working here for the past year, earning credit as a college intern. She's been great, but her days as an intern are over.
Then comes the twist. Rick offers Lily a paid part-time job. She lights up instantly. You guys are gonna pay me now? The old man immediately ruins the emotional moment by handing her paperwork and saying, "Deadpan, obviously you failed. Word to your mother." Corey wraps it up with a meta joke about national mental health, and somehow the whole scene feels both wholesome and completely unhinged.
So we've been thinking about it. Your internship's over, but we're thinking if you wanted to, we could give you like a part-time job because you're still in college and you probably need the money.
You guys are gonna pay me now?
I can't have you work here for free forever, so.
Rebecca arrives and quickly reframes the story. Yes, these Bibles are rare, but not as rare as people think. She explains the Pony Express founder made riders swear oaths on them. Corey's reaction? If he rode a horse 100 miles a day, the first thing he'd do is go to a bar. It's the perfect collision of old school devotion and modern reality, and somehow both make sense.
What have we got?
This is a Pony Express Bible.
Okay.
From what I've found, there's only 12 known to exist. Maybe this is number 13?
The 12 known that you're thinking, that's a 1960 census. There have been a few discovered since then.
Rebecca drops the bombshell. It's not an official Pony Express Bible, but one from the Overland Mail Company. The seller's face sinks, but then comes the twist. She still values it at $6,000 to $7,000 because of its Americana significance. Rick, who was mentally preparing for disappointment, suddenly perks up. Pawn logic at its finest. Bad news first, then surprisingly, great news.
And these were all actually kind of like presentation Bibles. You can see here we've got this description on the front of the cover. All of the Pony Express 300 had a presentation on the cover. And this one specifically mentions the Overland Mail Company.
Negotiations kick off. Seller wants $5,000. Rick opens at $2,500. They go back and forth like a tennis match, both trying not to blink. The seller talks about finding the right collector. Rick talks about margins. They land at $3,000. Seller's happy, Rick's happy, and everyone walks away feeling like they just won something. That's the sweet spot of pawn deals.
I'm not gonna do $5,000.
What will you do?
$2,500.
Yeah, I can't take $2,500.
It's gonna sit for a while. I mean, you gotta find the right customer. 99.9% of the people in the population don't have that kind of money to spend on a book.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Chumlee immediately abuses his authority and has Lily polishing silver like she's in a 19th century mansion. Rick storms in, shuts it down, and reminds Chum he is absolutely not her boss. Then Rick catches Corey and Chum throwing a football in the shop and shuts that down too. It's less a workplace and more a daycare with expensive merchandise.
Doesn't seem like something I should be doing. I don't even know how to polish silver.
You'll learn, trust me. This is what Rick wants. I'm really glad Lily got hired at the shop. I felt a little bit guilty asking too much of an intern.
Rick confronts Chum again, and Chum's excuse is painfully honest. He's just sad Lily's leaving. Rick doesn't buy it for a second. Chum then tells the camera that if the shop didn't invest in new talent, they'd never have discovered him, which might be the most unintentionally funny cell phone ever recorded.
And now I see why you were all upset Lily was gonna leave.
Yeah, Lily helps me out around here. It's no secret.
Okay, you are not her boss.
I know.
You do not tell her anything to do. Corey does.
Rick, just one thing, please. Could I have one word?
No.
A rabbi walks in with a haunting World War II poster showing Nazi brutality in Czechoslovakia, and the mood shifts instantly. Rick is visibly moved, calling it powerful and far from typical propaganda art. He brings in Mark, a museum curator, and both men dive into the history with deep respect. For once, the shop goes quiet. History has a way of doing that.
Yes, I'm Rabbi Melheck, and this is an original poster depicting the Nazi brutality.
That is, hold on. All the men of Leitich, Czechoslovakia have been shot. The women deported to a concentration camp.
Mark explains the Litis massacre behind the poster, and the imagery suddenly hits harder. Corey points out that if you read it and feel nothing, something's wrong. The rabbi asks $3,000. Rick offers $1,500. To everyone's surprise, the rabbi accepts immediately. It's not about squeezing value. It's about preserving something important, quick, solemn, and meaningful.
Using these posters to try to explain what was going on. And this particular one speaks to one of the major massacres that happened in World War II. There was a partisan attempt that was successful to kill Reinhard Heydrich, who was one of the highest ranking Nazis there.
Then we jump straight back into geek territory. A massive Star Wars fan from Brazil brings in a Japanese Pepsi R2-D2 vending machine that lights up and dispenses cans. Corey nerds out over George Lucas's marketing genius while the fan dreams of $5,000. It's flashy, rare, and undeniably cool, but Corey starts poking holes in the dream.
More of a C-3PO guy.
Oh, really?
Your machine here and your shirt, I'm assuming you're a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Where in the world did you get this?
All right, this one I got in Japan. This came out in a promotion over there in 2006.
Corey explains the brutal truth of collectibles. If something was made to be collectible, it usually isn't that valuable. He offers $1,000. The fan pushes back hard, arguing rarity, comparing it to Picasso-level desirability. Corey stays firm. No deal. The fan leaves disappointed, and the moment perfectly sums up pawn life. Passion meets reality, and reality usually wins.
Everyone knows that Star Wars memorabilia is collectible, but the guys that are into this stuff tend to think that their prized possessions are worth a fortune. Most of the time, I have to break bad news to them. But the fact that you can only get this in Japan might actually make it worth something.